Welcome to the Open Forum in the Villages, Florida podcast. In this show we talk to leaders in the community, leaders of clubs and interesting folks who live here in the villages, to give perspectives of what is happening here in the villages. We hope to add a new episode most Fridays at 9 a.m. We are a listener-supported podcast. You can become a supporter for as little as $3 per month, or you can choose to pay more. To become a supporter, go to openforuminthevillages.com and click on Support in the black box. There will be shoutouts for supporters in episodes. Hope you enjoy.
This is Mike Roth on Open Forum in Villages. I'm here today with Ed Yuiska. Ed, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Ed, why don't you give our listeners a short background around yourself of what you did before you came to the villages?
I'm a retired physical therapist. I practiced pretty much exclusively in Detroit area. I've been pretty lucky all my life. God's been pretty good to me. The fellow that I met initially wanted a physical therapist, and I joined him, and he and I became partners. And he was a trainer with the Detroit Lions for several years, so we became known as taking care of sports injuries, and that's kind of what I did throughout my life up there, emphasis on taking care of different type of sports injuries. And I moved down to the villages in 2003 and hoped to open up a practice. However, I was unsuccessful, and I worked for the Lake Center Physical Therapy Group till 2018, and then I decided to retire.
And now Ed's teaching a course at La Hacienda, fall prevention, and that's an interesting topic. Why did you pick fall prevention, Ed?
Well, I got ready to retire, and I talked to doctors around the villages and said, God's been pretty good to me. I want to give back to the community. What can I do? He says, well, and they knew I was a physical therapist, and they said, well, we have an epidemic here in the villages. And I said, you do what? He said, people falling and getting hurt. So why don't you teach a fall prevention class? So that's what I did.
Since 2008?
What I did is I didn't like the classes that they had around here, because I wanted to do something different. So it took me a little while. So I've been teaching it for about 3 years now. The idea being that my program is a lot different than most programs, basically because I guess I'm a physical therapist and I look at things a little differently. My program is based on my premise that in order to improve balance, you got to sit less and move more. So that's what I emphasize my program on. And he activated the cerebellum and improved balance and with Pilates techniques. And as I was a certified Pilates instructor for many, many years and used Pilates concepts in the practice. What I wanted to do was I wanted to have a program that people could work at home, but they didn't have to spend 15, 20 minutes at a time. They could do it throughout the day. Because of my emphasis, sit less, move more, I set up the program so that these activities, which I call better balance activities, could be done in 3 to 5 minutes. And you could do 4 to 6 a day. And ideally, if you incorporate it after you do some daily activities like brushing your teeth or watching your coffee brew or working on the computer and taking a break, and in the evening taking a break with the advertisements. So that's what how I decided to set it up. The other thing that it was important to me is that the cerebellum, which is part of your brain, connects with your vestibular system, and that deals with balance and posture. So I wanted to challenge the vestibular and the cerebellum. So what I did is I have different levels with the activities. You don't go from one level to the next level until you're able to accomplish that level.
That makes sense, Ed. Ed, at the La Hacienda, where you teach it, is it one class a week, one class a month? How does that work?
I teach every Monday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a weekly class, and it's a free class. That was one of the things I wanted to do. I didn't want to charge. The other thing that I did was uniquely, I have a health and wellness website called PilatesPlusForBoomers.com. I've had that for many years. I set that up when I was practicing because I would get patients and I'd give them exercise, they'd get better, and then they call me a couple months later and say, I hurt my back again. What can I do? I said, well, go on my website because these exercises are what you were doing. And if you don't improve, get an order from the doctor and come back. Well, most people didn't have to come back. So that was part of the emphasis too. I wanted to take my fall prevention program and put it on my website so that people could go to the website free and view it and do the activities that are on the website.
So how many classes do most people attend before they stop coming?
Well, I've been doing it about 3 years. Initially, I had many more. I'm down to about 7, 8, or 10. But the unique thing is that every week I get new people. And then most of them, they get it from the newspaper because they can see that La Hacienda, my class. And then word of mouth, I have people that come to me and they tell their neighbors about it. So
Again, what day of the week and what time is it?
it's Monday at 10 o'clock at La Hacienda Rec Center.
Every Monday? Well,
Every Monday.
not past 4 Mondays or 5 Mondays.
It doesn't matter. I'm there.
Okay. So it sounds like most of your classes now are pretty small, only about 7, 8 people in them.
That's correct. There they are.
Okay. So that gives time for a little bit of personal help.
It sure does, yeah.
Each class is an hour?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're usually over because some of these people keep asking me other questions that may not be relevant to the fall, but I try to answer them or refer them to somebody that does.
So you said that one of the precepts of your program is to get people to stand up and not sit in the chair.
That's right. Get active. Get moving.
Mhm.
That's what's important. And then I have 3 important parts. Posture I have is teach because that's important. And it's called Pilates posture. And because Joe Pilates was an exercise specialist who worked with dancers, and he had the concept of lengthen and strengthen. And also, he's the one that developed the whole idea about core stabilization because we know that the core muscles are initiated with all this movement. So it's important that you have good core. So I integrate the posture with the activity level, and then I have the activities. And then the third area is strengthening with the bands, elastic bands.
Mhm.
And I give them lower extremity exercises because that's what is needed.
And do people have to bring mats or bands to your classes?
No, they usually don't. They don't come with anything. I have a handout which I give everybody.
Okay.
And if people come back, then they will bring the bands. But a lot of people don't come back because of the handout. I don't know if they think they know what to do or if they don't want to do the exercise. I don't know.
Okay. You mentioned the name Joe Pilates. Tell us a little bit more about him because I've heard about Pilates exercises.
Yeah, Joe Pilates was a German. He came over here in 1926, opened up a studio in New York, and worked primarily with dancers. And he had these concepts which we all use today. His concepts are still holding up. His idea was that you want to strengthen and use the core muscles because everything starts from the center, from your core. The core muscles really are the muscles in the front, side, and back. So you don't isolate. You want everything to work together as one unit. And that's basically how I practiced. And then I still do that. But he died in 1964.
64?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you talk to him, you hear all Pilates and everything like that. Pilates is a little different from yoga. Pilates is more for core strengthening, trunk strengthening kind of thing, where Pilates or yoga is more movement.
Okay. And what is the function of the cerebellum in your programs?
Okay, the cerebellum is basically, I call it a computer in your brain. That's the part of your brain that works with your vestibular system with improving balance. So if you have a balance shift, your cerebellum is always regulating this balance, and it helps with posture and also helps with movements. For example, if you started to learn when you were young, you learned to ride a bike. Your mother put the wheels on, and that's level 1. Level 2 is your parents would hold the bike as you went, and level 3, they'd let you go. So you worked at each level, and that's recorded. The same thing if you go out and play pickleball and you learn how to play pickleball, that's where it's recorded in your cerebellum, and you go back and play pickleball. All these activities are recorded. And the thing that I feel is important that you stimulate the cerebellum because otherwise it goes into a sleep mode. And whereas many programs around here have several exercises, and they all do the same exercise every week in and out. So that's where mine is pretty well different because I have 3 or 4 different levels at each of the 5 exercises. And you advance after you're able to accomplish the activity 5 times, 5 reps for 5 days, you can go up to the next level. So that's where mine is entirely different than most of the others.
So you teach your program in different levels?
Yes, I show these people the different levels. Most of the people they all work at the first level. First level is you always hold on. And I always emphasize people have a chair or a counter or something. You never do it in the middle of your living room floor because we don't want people to fall.
Right. I'm laughing because we've had several people fall in rec centers when the chair that was on wheels rolled out from under them before they got their rear end down on it to stabilize it.
Yeah, that's good. That could happen very easily.
Very easily. So in our improv classes, we more or less ban chairs with wheels.
Yes.
Okay. Joe, can you explain what your 5 better balance exercises are?
Okay, the first one is called just a balance exercise, and you hold on to the chair. And what you do is we work on Pilates posture. You got to maintain your posture throughout the activity. And what you do is you touch your toes forward, touch behind you, touch across your body, and then out to the side together. So that would be the basis on that. So the level 1, you would hold on. Level 2, you do the same exercise, except you don't hold on. Level 3, instead of touching, you point. You do the same exercise. You point with your toes forward, back, side, and across. You do 4 exercises. So, and then on that level,
To do that, you're standing on one foot then.
that's right. Yeah. And on that level 3, you hold on to the chair until you're and do it for 5 days, because that's what we want to make sure that it's established in your cerebellum, in your brain. And then the next level, you do the same thing, except you don't hold on. And that's when the trouble starts. Mostly everybody seems to have, everybody has problems. So if they're able to, so they work at the level that they can work at. So if they don't jump up to the top level right away until they can accomplish the other levels. And then the top level would be, you would do the same exercise, except you would hold it in each position for 5 seconds.
Okay. So that would really increase your need for balance.
Yeah, that's the one balance. The other one is I have people put one foot in front of the other and talk on the telephone. And what you do is you talk about 5 minutes on the telephone, and every 25 seconds you change a foot, put it behind.
I'm trying these as you say.
Okay. So in level 1, you hold on.
Okay.
Level 2, you don't hold on.
Okay.
And then level 3 is what you do is you're just going to walk, holding on to the counter, you walk forward and back. And then holding on, and level 4, you do the same, walking forward and back, except you don't hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just walking in a regular step. And then when it gets advanced, you hold on, and then you do the heel toe, walking forward and back. And that's
Level 5 is when you
let go of you don't have to hold on, and you walk forward and back. And then the other level is, the top level is you do the heel toe touching, walking forward and walking back. But you hold on. I don't have people not hold on, because 9 out of 10 people would probably fall. So that's.
As you're doing these classes in the rec centers, has anyone ever fallen?
Yes, I've had a few people, but they were never injured. So
Never injured.
No.
Okay, that's
okay, and that's the second activity that we do.
This is Mike Roth with Dr. Craig Curtis for today's Alzheimer's tip. Dr. Curtis, can you tell our listeners something they can do to improve the nourishment that they give to their brains?
Absolutely. Our brain only weighs about 2% of our overall body weight, yet it receives about 20% of our blood supply. So it's very important that we essentially nourish our blood vessels. As we nourish our blood vessels, we'll essentially then nourish our brain. So lowering the amounts of sugars, red meats that's high in cholesterol can go a long way to nourishing our brain by making our blood vessels more compliant.
With over 20 years of experience studying brain health, Dr. Curtis's goal is to educate the Villages community on how to live a longer, healthier life. To learn more, visit his website, craigcurtismd.com, or call 352-500-5252 to attend a free seminar.
Third activity is I have a ball. You sit in your ball and throw your ball back and forth and catch it when you're sitting. And in 5 days, you're able to stand up because you developed a program, and you do the same activity, standing up there 5 times.
I guess, how big is the ball that you throw?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a tennis ball.
Okay.
It's just a regular tennis ball. And then the next level is you walk forward and back. So, and then the following level is you bounce the ball to the left and to the right, and you sidestep right and left, that type of thing. So the whole idea is that these people, when they walk, the idea is that people aren't used to shifting. And so what we're trying to do is get that cerebellum so that it shifts around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the next one we do is what we call the tightrope walking. And usually in your home, if you have wood slats going forward. You walk, keep your feet on 2 of the wood slats, holding on, walking forward. And then the next level will be, after 5 days, you go to level 2, you don't hold on. Then you go to the next level where you hold on and you step forward, but you turn to the left and turn to the right as you walk.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they do 5 of these back and forth. And when they're able to do that for 5 days or 5 times without problems, they go to the next level, and then that next level they wouldn't hold on, and so they progress.
How long does it take someone to get to these level 5s? Just
several months. Some people will never get there. They just don't have that ability, the cerebellum.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more advanced somebody is in an athletic position, if they've worked in activities where their body or cerebellum is used to that type of activity, their chances are that they can get to that level.
Yeah.
And then the fun one is dancing with a pillow. And I recommend that people do this in the evening when the ads come on. You do one ad and what it is it's a modified waltz is what it is. With the emphasis is having people when they walk forward and then when they turn around, they step and turn around. Because that's when a lot of people fall. It's when they go to turn, they fall.
Then you rotate your body like 40 degrees.
Yeah, and you move your foot. When you move, you're moving your foot back too. A lot of people don't move. So what we're training that cerebellum to do is that when you go that way, your cerebellum is going to say, move your foot back. Mm-hmm. And that works because people have told me that they stumbled and everything like that.
Now, since you talked about stumbling, let's talk for a little bit about what you call the art of falling.
Believe it or not, there is an art to falling. Problem is that in order to do that, you have to relax. That's the number one criteria.
So if you're going to fall,
you have to relax. And
just relax.
But if you don't practice it, you'll never learn to relax. So what I have people do is they get back up against the chair. And the whole idea is when you do this, what you want to do is you want to put your head to look down, get your chin to your head to your chin to your chest, and look down and squat as fast as you can, and then relax. Because you want to land up on your butt is where you want to end up. So you're not going to, and you have to keep your arms in front, crossed so that you don't get your arms out, because that's what happens when people fall. They put their arms out. Next thing they know, they have problems. So but the biggest thing is practicing, and I don't guarantee that it'll work, but I've had several people call me that have taken my class and said, that works. I didn't fall. I didn't stumble.
Okay, well, it's not the stumbling, but if someone is going to fall, that part about pulling your arms in is really important.
That's right.
We have a lady in our improv class who fell once and broke an arm.
Yes.
Okay, had it set, and then she went to get out of her car to get her mail, tripped on the curb and broke the other arm within a week of the first arm.
You see, that would be hard to try to relax in that situation, but sometimes if you do stumble, you can recover. I've done that several times because I do practice this in my garage, because my garage is like everyone else's garage. It's kind of tight, so it's hard to get around some things.
I thought you were going to say you padded your garage.
No.
So are there any pads on the floor so people can practice?
No, because the goal is that we don't want you to fall.
Okay, but if you are going to fall, hold your arms in front of you.
That's right. Hold your arms in and try to relax.
And try to land on.
Drop down to a squat position and chin to the chest, because you don't want your head back.
Right.
And drop down as fast as you can. You may be able to stop the fall.
So that's something you have to learn to do in milliseconds.
That's right. That's why you need to practice it.
Okay.
And then in conjunction to that is getting up from a fall.
Okay, so let's pretend you've just fallen.
Okay.
And you landed in a good position on your rear end.
Okay. So hopefully somebody's there, or if they're there, they want to make sure that you're not injured. That's the number one thing. You got to make sure you're not injured. If you are, you should call 911. That's what you do. Hopefully somebody is there. And then what you do is you roll on your side and roll over and get on your hands and knees. And then you can crawl to a chair, and then you put both hands on that chair and put one leg up, end it up, and stand up. Now, if you have somebody at home, they can bring the chair to you so you don't have to go.
Right. So the trick is, don't stand up where you fall, but stand up next to an object or a chair that you can use as a brace to pull your body up with.
Yeah. So, and I have a video that I shows, because some people, fall, and it shows you how to scoot and everything on your butt and everything. If you want to scoot and find your phone, some do that. But I recommend you try to get to a chair is the best way.
Or keep your phone with you.
Yes. No, we don't. I don't know anybody who does that all the time.
I do.
Do you?
It's right here on my hip the whole time.
Even when you get out of bed at night?
It's next to the bed.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay. But if I get out of bed at night, you're right. I don't have a belt on, so the phone is still on the night table.
Yeah. That's when a lot of people do fall, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that relate to people who have cases of vertigo?
That makes it very difficult to do that. So I have them just stay at lower levels instead of trying to advance to the higher levels until they can do it all right. But that's basically, instead, don't worry about going to higher levels. Just stay down at the lower levels. And some of these people I have, and they continue to hold on. So now what I do before we start any of these, I tell people, how do you know you have a problem? You don't unless you test yourself. So I have them do 3 tests.
3 tests.
And one is a single leg test, which we do. Stand on one leg.
Stand on one leg.
And get your posture and stand on one leg for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what you want to do is, once you're able to do that, then you won't have to do it as often. I recommend if you have trouble doing it, there's a standard, and I have on my hand that I give out, standard based off your age of how many seconds you should be able to stand.
Oh, really?
So if you're 60 years old, you should be able to stand at least 30 seconds. If you're 90, just 10 seconds.
Okay.
So you want to be able to stand what your age group is, and then basically practice that maybe 3 days a week. If you can't do it, I want you to do this, practice it 5 days a week.
Okay, so that's test one.
Test one. And test two is a 30-second test, and that's where you put your heel toe together and hold it for 30 seconds. There you go.
Heel to toe.
Right, for 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then the third test is a sit-to-stand test, 30-second. That's where you sit down, stand up, 30 seconds.
How many times you can do that?
In 30 seconds, how many times? And there are standards based off your age group. So what you do is you find your age group, and when you're young, the younger you are, the more you should be able to do. So if you're 90 years old, you should be able to do about 16 of these in 30 seconds.
90?
Yeah.
16 of them in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Now
And what I
is there
reckon,
a specification for the type of chair that you're getting?
well, I want to make sure the chair is always against the wall,
Mhm.
and you can put some pillows down on your chair so that when you fall down, if you have trouble getting up, you put the pillows down, and then as you get stronger, take the pillows out because you want to get all the way down. So a lot of people can't get out of a chair. I have a woman right now that's been coming. She can't get out of a chair. So she's using about 3 pillows to practice this every day. So she's trying to get her legs stronger. And as she gets stronger, she'll take one pillow out all the way until she finally gets down.
So you're talking about a 90-degree chair.
Yes, right.
Okay, a chair that has a back that leans back like I have in my kitchen.
No, you don't need that. You don't want that.
It's like a 110-degree chair.
Yeah.
Or the
Just a kitchen chair, so to speak.
kitchen chair or the recliner.
Yeah.
We're even in worse shape.
Yeah. So, but make sure that they can't move. That's the important thing, that you don't want that. Because the whole goal is we don't want you to fall.
Right.
So that's why I'm overly cautious about people making certain that they don't fall, doing it safely. So, and then the third part is I have them do some leg exercises, standing and then sitting, using bands around their ankles and around their knee and around their feet.
Tell our listeners a little bit more about that, because we just can't see that in my mind's eye right now.
Okay, you take the band. Basically, what you do is take the heaviest band you have and put it under your table. And then you can do 3 exercises, standing tall. And this is where I emphasize Pilates posture. You tighten your tummy for 5 seconds as you take the leg out to the side. And you start out doing 6 or 8 and add a couple every week until you get to a dozen.
So explain to our listeners, Ed, where is the band?
The band's around your ankle.
Band's around your ankle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so you're going to do sideways.
You're going to, and you're holding the band on the other hand.
No, what you do is put your hand on the table.
Table.
Yeah. Keep the hand on the table and just move the leg. I always want you to hold on.
So where is the band getting resistance from?
Well, the bands are around both legs, or around the table leg. So the resistance is at the table leg.
Oh, okay. So it's around the table leg, then around your ankle. And so you're moving your leg out against the resistance of the band,
Right.
against the table leg.
Right. And what you do is you move it out, tighten it. Think of your pelvis as a bucket. You want to pull up on your pelvis, on your bucket. So you breathe out for 5 seconds, keep it out there,
Mhm.
and then breathe in as you bring it back in. So you go sideways, and then you do one across the body, and then the third one would be behind your body. So you do 3 of them.
Okay, so you have to turn your body to get those angles.
Right. Correct.
Do you practice those in your class at the Hacienda?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
No, I demonstrate that because we don't have a lot of tables. We only have 1 table at the Hacienda.
Well, they got lots of tables. Tell them to bring in more tables.
That's maybe, no, I don't
One table.
I don't know if they want to do that. So, and then the other exercise I have them sitting, and they're what they do is they put the band under 1 foot and then put it over the other foot and then do a straight leg raise with the band.
Again, I can't see that.
You're sitting
You're sitting.
and you got a band under the 1 foot, what part of the band, the other part of the band on your other foot, and then you raise 1 leg up. You want to get it all the way up. Straighten it, hold it for 5 seconds again with you.
So you're putting your foot on the band.
Yeah, one's on the band and the other foot holds the band. Sit down.
So let me see if I got this straight. Put my foot on one end of the band.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you're sitting.
I'm sitting, and then
The other is around the toes of the foot.
around the toes.
Okay, and then what you do is you put your hands under your knee, raise your leg up, and then straighten your leg out
As far as it'll go.
as far as it'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you hold it for 5 seconds, tightening your abdominals. So you're working your Your core muscles, Pilates muscle.
Okay, so this is very good. These are things that you don't need to join a gym to do.
No, that's right. And the third exercise, you put the band around your ankles, and you push your ankles out to the side, take them apart around each of the ankles, both ankles.
You're running the band around your ankles.
Well, you have the band is tied together.
Oh, so it's a small band.
Yeah, they're small bands.
Okay, I'm thinking it's a 4-foot band.
No, they're just small.
Then it'd be a lot of
But
slack.
you're sitting, and you keep your heels on the floor, and you push feet out.
Yeah, okay, we got that. Good. So Ed, if people are interested in taking your course at La Hacienda, do they have to make reservations?
No, they show up at 10 o'clock on Mondays.
Okay. Have you ever had the room overfull?
No,
What's the most you ever had?
probably about 15.
15. Okay, so it's still a small class exercise.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's going to be a really good exercise for people.
Yeah, I got most of those people after the paper did an article on it, so I got most people for a couple of weeks, and then it
Then
dwindled
falls
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Off of the course.
right.
Good. Hey, Ed, thanks for being along with us. Anything you want to add? Last thoughts?
Just remember, sit less, move more.
Hey, I like that expression and theme song. Thanks a lot for joining us, Ed.
Sure, thank you.
Remember, our next episode will be released next Friday at 9 a.m. Should you want to become a major supporter of the show or have questions, please contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. This is a shout out for supporters Tweet Coleman, Dan Capellan, Ed Williams, Alvin Stenzel, and major supporter Dr. Craig Curtis at K2 in the Villages. We will be hearing more from Dr. Curtis with short Alzheimer's tips each week. If you know someone who should be on the show, contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. We thank everyone for listening to the show. The content of the show is copyrighted by Roth Voice 2023, all rights reserved.